Hey y'all, it's Jake Coleman at George Coleman Ford. Today we're going to talk about electric vehicles, and specifically some of y'all may have been looking for an electric vehicle online and noticed that they're very hard to find, and if you can find one, because the demand's so high, prices are crazy. So a lot of people are turning to the used compliance cars. They're a little bit older, but you may have concerns about battery degradation or the range the vehicle got when new. So we're going to look at this 2014 Focus Electric that we have on the lot right now. I think we've got it for sale for $11,935, and it has 37,000 original miles. Now, one benefit I've noticed already on this Focus that we have is the charge time. I know on the new electric Lightning on a 240 volt outlet, the charge time's about 12 hours. This one actually says 3.5 hours, and on our charger, that seems to be about the case. But I'm sure you're gonna have plenty of questions about the car, so let's go take it for a drive and see what it's like to daily drive a 2014 Focus Electric. Okay, so you can see it here on the left. I am starting with a range of 72 miles with a +10 status, and I'll show you why it says that here in a second. But if you look over here on the main screen, the battery is 100% charged. Now, the reason it says +10 on the status is because I have the AC off. If I turn the AC on, it goes down to 62 miles to kind of give you an idea of the difference that the AC and heat system can make for your total range. You can see my status went to 0. So this is where I'm starting. Ready to go on the road trip. All right, getting ready to head out on the road trip and reset the trip to 0 miles. Shows 72 miles of range. Gonna turn the AC on though, because currently it's 93 degrees outside, so this should be a pretty good example of a test in kind of the worst case scenario. Middle of summer here in South Carolina, so it's plenty warm, but we'll see how it goes. I'll check in with y'all in a bit. Quick update for you guys. Just pulled over. I am 10 miles, just under 10, 9.9 into the trip, and 50 miles of range left and 12 miles used from that 62 that I started with the AC on. Might be tough with 93 degree temperatures to get what the battery is estimating, but just want to give you a quick update. Keep on going. Okay, just real quick here while I'm in the parking lot. I want you guys to see one thing, other than using the AC, obviously. Another big factor in total range in an EV is how you drive the car. So how easy or hard do you accelerate, and then how do you take advantage of the regen brakes that all EVs have? And what those regen brakes do is put power back in the battery pack from the heat that the brakes create, rather than just it going into the air and being wasted. So one thing on the EV is to get off the gas as quick as you can, because that'll automatically have the regen brakes kind of take over for you. I'll show you real quick just how that works. Go down the little frontage road over here. So we're on the accelerator, getting up speed, and then we let off, and you see that little circle going around the 50 to empty. That's the regen brakes. I'm going down a hill, and the whole time I'm just off the accelerator, not even on the brake, and the brakes, the regen brakes take over, and they are putting energy in the battery. So coming to a stop here at the stop sign, you'll see there's a little brake coach that this has, and it'll tell you how good a job you did at braking. So let's see. Yeah, 100% energy returned. It's another cool feature, just something to think about when you're driving an EV. I'll check back with you in a minute. All right, checking back in. I am 40 miles into my trip. It says I have 28 miles to go, and I've figured out the gauge on the right, I guess, is a status compared to what it estimated that you would make it at the start, which I'm +9 on, so I've turned it around even with my AC still on and at 71 degrees. On the main screen you can see I've used exactly 60% of the battery, got 40% left. So at this point, what's it like driving the electric Focus? I would say it's basically like driving a regular Focus. Only difference is that it has one speed automatic transmission, which that's kind of cool. That's one thing that I would complain about with typical driving on a newer vehicle, having that 6 or 10 speed transmission. And as you can hear, when you get going, you hear nothing but tire noise, really. I mean, there's no motor noise, and that takes a little bit of getting used to. But yeah, I don't mind the 1-speed transmission. That's kind of nice. And the regen braking is pretty cool. So other than that, it's just like driving a normal Focus so far. Been a good trip. Probably try to see if I can get a little more juice out of this thing and get as close to empty as I possibly can. All right, quick stop here. One more time. I pulled over at a gas station just because I was thinking about what affects the range, and it seems like, as far as my little gauge, plus or minus gauge there, tells me if I've been trying to drive responsibly, with close to the speed limit, and use the regen brakes, get as much as I can on the brake coach to get power back into the battery pack. But when I'm driving on like a 45-mile-an-hour road, coming up stoplights, stop and go like that, it seems like the car, my plus status, doing better than I guess the expected range, starts to go up. So when I'm going like 45, getting to the occasional stoplight, that does really well with the range. I think you could go a long way. But I've also been on some 55, 60 mile an hour roads, and when you're going 55 or 60, no stoplights or anything, it seems like, I guess because of the aerodynamic, wind resistance, the drag, that's when I start to see the gauge go down. So I'm getting worse than expected in those situations. So definitely depends on what kind of driving you're doing to what kind of total range you're going to get. I've been trying to mix it up on my drive. I've been going on 35, 45 mile an hour roads, and I've also been going on, like I said, 55, 60 mile an hour roads. So trying to get a good mix to give you a good idea, but that definitely plays a factor in the total range. Alright, so back at the dealership, and I have gone just under 63 miles, 62.8 miles, and it shows I have 6 miles to empty, so I guess that's why the status says +6. I do have 7% of the battery life left, and I believe I could get to 70 miles if I wanted to, but too much range anxiety to do that. I don't want to run out on the road, so I'm not going to give it a try. But I have had the AC on the whole trip, and like I said, I've been trying to drive as efficiently as I can, but really impressed with the 2014 8-year-old car, and still doing pretty good. I guess the battery's not degraded much at all. Because I think if you had the AC off, if it wasn't 93 degrees outside, you could definitely get close to the 76 miles of range that this said it had when it was new. But no issues for the whole drive. I really like the car. I mean, it's got heated seats, big screen that gives you a lot of cool info, and yeah, I mean, for 2014, it's pretty nice. So yeah, I enjoyed the trip and happy about the range. Listen well. So we've driven the Focus Electric today, and can you daily drive a Focus Electric? Well, I don't think it's that simple of an answer. I think for some people it'd be great. If you have a short commute, if you have a place to charge at work or near work, then I think it's a car that can work well for you, but it's just going to depend on the situation. So if this is the car that fits you, I don't think you can beat it. It's a very simple car. The battery degradation turned out to be pretty low, so it could work. Thank you for joining us today. This is Jake Coleman at George Coleman Ford.